everyone, it's Erica from Me to You Paper Crafts. Today I want to share a video on making this card. I punched out a couple of yellow flowers for another project. They were lying around on my desk and I hate to waste anything, so I thought let's just put something together. So I put this little vase card together, and oh my gosh, the yellow with the black, I just found it to be quite stunning. So I want to show you how to make this, and we're actually going to make it using crisp cantaloupe and the black. And I haven't quite decided what flowers will be what, but we'll just go along and see how it works out, which is really the way I like to paper craft. I don't do a lot of ahead planning, or planning ahead I should say. So what we're going to be using for this, the stamp set is the, we're going to need Circles Collection, sorry, but the stamp set is called, here it is, it's called Mixed Bunch. And I believe it is still available in the current catalog. And we're going to use the Circles Collection framelits, like I said, for the making the vase. And this new polka dot, large polka dot embossing folder. I just love this one. And we're going to be using 3 different punches. We're going to use the pansy punch, we're going to use the blossom punch, and we're also going to use the 7/8 inch scallop circle punch. So I basically have all the stamps on my acrylic blocks already, ready to go. Now for the card, this is a 5x5. I'm into square cards these days, so this is a 5x5 inch card. And then I've got a couple of layers. I've got the crisp cantaloupe layer, and then another layer on top of that. And I will post all of the measurements on my blog when I post this, so that you'll be able to make this card for yourself. All right, so let's get started. We're basically not doing any stamping on the card itself. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is we need 2 pansy crisp cantaloupe flowers. So let's go ahead and punch these out. So there's one and the other. So we'll just set those aside. And then I think for the center of those, I'm going to pull out my crisp cantaloupe ink pad. And let's use this little stamp. I think this is a very cute stamp. And I need some plain white cardstock here. So let's stamp this with crisp cantaloupe. I need 2 of these. Now when I use punches, I always stamp close to the edge because it just makes it much easier to punch out. So we'll punch one of these out here. Doesn't exactly fit, cuts it off just a tiny bit, but that's okay. It looks just fine. So there's one. I'm going to put that on top of the little pansy. And then the other one I'll punch out. Alright, so those 2 are ready, and then I'm going to put a couple of pearls in the middle of those. Alright, so those are done. Alright, next step, I'm going to use a piece of crisp cantaloupe, and using black memento ink, I am going to stamp this flower. I think it's very, very pretty. We'll stamp this one out. And again, I try to line up my punches with my stamp. So because one of the petals faces downwards, I'm going to stamp this downwards like that. All right, and then I'll punch that one out. Get that nicely lined up. It's a little tricky. You got to move it around just a tad. Get all those points in the right spots. And punch that out. Okay. And for the center of that flower, I might just do that with this little stamp in black on, I think I'll do it on white again. Let's pull this white out. And then to punch this out, I'm going to use the 3/4 inch punch. I think I forgot to mention this one at the beginning of the video, but this fits perfectly on there like that. So that's the center of that flower. All right, and then another flower I want to use is this flower, and maybe we'll just do this on white. Let's just make sure that's on there nicely. And again, you want to stamp it with the point down. So I'll stamp that like that. And we'll punch that one out as well. Okay, let's see. This particular flower with the punch leaves quite a bit of white on the outside edges, which you could sponge, which I think would be very pretty. So now we've got the white flower. And then I think I'll use a little piece of crisp cantaloupe. And I have one more little round stamp, this one. And let's punch this one out in black. Put that on there. And then I have one more flower. I'm going to do that on white, and I'm going to use, let's see, I think I have one more flower to use. Is it in the box? This one. Oh no, here it is. It's right in front of my face. So let's pull off a stamp and replace it on here. Oh, what am I doing? Upside down. Okay, like that. And I think I'm going to do this one in crisp cantaloupe because it's a nice thick line. There are nice thick lines on this stamp. So let's do this one. Ooh, that didn't come out quite well. Okay, rescue time. Take out your pen. I have Stampin' Write markers for every color, and I'm just going to color that little blotch in a little bit. Okay, perfect. And then let's punch that out. Like this. Okay. All right, I think I have all my flower. Oh, I need a center for this one. Let's see. I'm going to do this one again because I really like it. And we'll do it in, let's do it black on white. And I need the scallop punch for that one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, so 5 flowers. So you know when you put a vase together, when you buy flowers or cut them from your garden, you know the odd number rule. Yes, you never put 2, 4, 6 flowers together in a vase. You'll put 3 or 5 or 7. That's the general rule. So I do the same thing on my card. So I've got 5 flowers here. And the next thing, let's just move all these stamps out of the way. And we'll get rid of, I don't think we need this anymore. And I'm going to pull this forward so you can see it again. And I'll assemble it pretty well the same way. So let's get rid of my ink pad. And let's now move to the circle framelit. Okay, so what size did I pick? I think I did. Now I've numbered mine. Number it so that when I do videos I can tell you what number it is. You might want to number yours as well with just a little Sharpie pen. So this is, I think, number 6. No, it was bigger. My apologies. It's going to be a number 7. Yes, number 7. All right, so I'm going to bring over my big shot here. Bring over the big shot, and we're going to be cutting this with all the tabs closed, one cutting plate. I'm not using my magnetic platform because I'm not positioning this over a stamped image, but I do like my magnetic platform for cutting out stamped images. So, oh, and I have to reach over here for a plate, a second plate. Put that on top and run it through without bumping into anything. Okay, there's our circle. And then I want to run this through the embossing folder. So just throw it in there. And then you want tab 2 to be open. You need a plate, a folder with your paper inside, and then another plate. Okay, and then just run that through. Okay. This out of the way, and let's see what we end up with. So exciting. Oh, look at that. I don't know if the camera picks that up, the big dots on there. I just love it. All right, now what we want to do is we need to cut off the edge a little bit for the bottom of the card. You don't have to worry about the top because the flowers are going to cover the top. So just take out your paper trimmer and just trim off. Doesn't matter where you trim, you're just going to trim off a little bit off the bottom. All right, so there we go. Now let's assemble our card. So you bring out your card base, make sure you have it in the right orientation. It's going to open up like that. Then you're going to take your, ooh, I got some marks on there, but we'll just flip it over. And we're going to tape this down. So I'll just bring out this glue glider. I decided to test another. I don't really care for this one. It's okay. I really do like the Stampin' Up tape runners the best. They're just smaller and easier to use, I think. Okay. And then I like to open up my cards to then position this on. Now this is cut just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the 5 by 5 inch card. So it's got a nice narrow border. Oh, my husband's coming in. So I'm going to pause the video just to say hello and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's finish off making our card. So I've layered the crisp cantaloupe onto the card base. And now I'm going to layer the white piece. I've now pulled out a different glue runner. I like this one better, I think. Place that on top. Again, this is 1/8 smaller than the crisp cantaloupe piece. Okay, and then we're going to put on our vase, and I had trimmed a little bit off the bottom, so we're going to glue that on. Now whenever I emboss anything with an embossing folder, I really do like to use Tombow glue instead of a tape runner to stick it down. I find it works a lot better. So place that right on the edge of the white piece. All right, and now it's a matter of just arranging your flowers. So, you know, we can go ahead and follow the pattern on as I did on the yellow and the black. So, you know, this one will go here. And actually what we should do is place these pieces, maybe we'll just put the centers on everything first. That would be a smarter thing to do. So these are going to have crisp cantaloupe centers, and this one is going to have this one in the center. And to add some dimension, I'm going to actually add some dimensionals with dimensionals to these center pieces. So let's put that in the center of that one. And we'll do the same here. These things have a lot of static on them. Okay. And now, for these little flowers, I think I'm going to curl up the edges. So I like to use my bone folder for this. So you're just putting the paper between your thumb and the bone folder, and you're just going to curl these petals over like this. Okay, and then the other thing I like to do is take out your piercing mat and these pieces, and we're going to then take our piercing tool, the other end of the piercing tool, and we're going to start rounding these out so that we give them a bit of dimension. Like that. And then I'm going to just put a spot of glue on the bottom of these petals, or these centers. Oh, this one I haven't curled yet. Let's curl this one. That one in like that. All right, so these two are on dimensions, and these two are not. They're just glued in there. And then we have this flower here, and we're going to put one more dimensional on here. Put this one here. Okay, and now it's a matter of deciding what flowers are going to have rhinestones and which flowers are going to have pearls. So it's totally up to you how you do that. So I'm just going to randomly put these on. I think these would look nice with these bigger pearls. Like that. And then we have one more to do. I'll do a little rhinestone for this one. So again, I've still used that 5. I've got 3 pearls and 2 rhinestones, so that works out perfectly. Okay, so now let's figure out where we want to put our flowers and how you want to overlap them a little bit. Might have one down here, And then you might want one here or two here. So here's the completed card. I arranged the flowers the way I thought they looked nice, and then I stuck them down. Some I put up on dimensionals and others I just glued down. I think it looks quite nice in the crisp cantaloupe. And then here is again the yellow card that I did the other day. And because these are non-standard cards, you won't find, well, you may find in your town a 5x5 envelope, but they're pretty hard to come by and they can be expensive. So if you have the envelope punch board, then you can make a 5x5 envelope. So I'll do that now for you, just as a reminder of how to use it. So let me take out my scoring tool. And if you look on the board, you're looking for the card size, which is 5x5. And so the paper size that you're going to require is 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. So I've already cut my paper. So remember, they're always turn out square. Papers are always square. And then you look at your score line, because this is where you're going to first do your measurement. So if you look at the, again, 5x5, you need 4 1/8. That's your first score line at 4 1/8. So you put your paper in and you find 4 1/8. Okay, let me just zoom in so you can see that a little bit closer. So here's your 4 1/8. Okay. So then what I do is I do a punch. Let me zoom out again. So I do a punch and then I score along this score line here. Then I turn my paper and I don't have to worry about measuring anymore. All you want to do is line up this little point here to the score line that you just made. And then you're going to punch and score again. Turn your paper, line up the score line with that point, punch and score, and turn it one more time, line it up, punch and score. And then you're going to burnish, fold up all of your edges and burnish them with the bone folder. And then basically you fold up the sides like that. So I put some glue tape down here like that, and then you'll put some glue down the other side. Make sure you don't get it on the inside of the envelope, otherwise it'll stick together and you don't want that. And then you pull up the bottom and there you go. And also remember that on the top of the envelope punch board there is a reverse punch, and it actually creates a little corner finish. So you can use this for, you know, cornering off your cards or your envelopes. So it creates a nice little rounded edge at the top. And there's your envelope for your 5x5 card. So you can decorate the outside if you like. You could put an envelope liner to match the card if you like, whatever you want. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.